Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP and I got to start with this Clarity Act update. According to a handful of attendees who spoke with Crypto in America, was a merry and bright staffers and members of this festive spirit Scott, when the banking committee of its market structure T-path to having a markup 018th in committee with P, there are 2 or 3 already on the Democrat side who said they're a yes as well. So maybe this gets done by Christmas and ends up on the president's desk in January. It would be great to see that happen because this benefits utility-driven cryptocurrencies more than any other cryptocurrency out there in this space. And this also has a major effect on Ripple's escrow. So we know Ripple Labs, the primary developer of the XRP ledger, currently holds approximately 38 to 40 billion XRP in timed escrow accounts, releasing up to 1 billion monthly. This escrow mechanism was designed to build trust and prevent dumps, but as fueled, SEC claims that XRP is a security due to Ripple's influence. The Clarity Act's 20% cap directly challenges this. So it would be forced dispersion. To classify XRP as a digital commodity on a mature blockchain, Ripple would need to reduce its holdings below 20%, roughly 20 billion XRP. Analysts project this could happen naturally by 2028 through ongoing releases, but passage might accelerate it via faster unlocks. Over-the-counter sales are transfers to institutional partners. Now, a lot of people said they could also open up the NDAs and show that this escrow is already accounted for, that it actually belongs to someone else. Remember, David said they could sell XRP even before it's unlocked. So when that XRP unlocks, it goes to its rightful holder. So maybe the NDAs can be a workaround around the Clarity Act's 20% cap. But a lot of people believe it's going to go to the IMF and they're going to utilize it as an ESDR. So I said, here's the chances and timeline for XRP to become an ESDR, but Ripple having to meet the Clarity Act guidelines of holding 20% of the supply, this may change. So the timeline might change because of the Clarity Act. So realistic timeline and probability breakdown. 2025 to 2026 near-term 5 to 10% chance that XRP is classified as an ESDR by the IMF. 2027 to 2030 timeline. 20 to 30% chance. SDR basket review in 2027 could include digital assets if XRP gains national adoption. Beyond 2030, 40% plus. If tokenization hits $10 trillion per BIS estimates, XRP's edge proven in real flows give it a better probability of becoming an ESTR. The reason I wanted to show you this is because a lot of people keep talking about XRP being utilized as an ESDR. Now, if that was to happen, we would be looking at $1,000 per XRP, like an overnight event. But here's the chances of that happening. Now, Clarity could change the chances of this happening. Maybe it happens sooner. And then I went on to talk about this right here, because people said they're just going to hand it over to Canary and Franklin Templeton and so on. Just to clarify, Ripple cannot sell the escrow or XRP to ETF issuers. I see posts stating, Ripple is selling quietly to ETF issuers like Franklin Templeton and Canary, etc. The reason we will see scarcity is because ETF issuers will turn to the exchanges to buy XRP once the over-the-counter desk run out. And even Grok pointed out that Ripple cannot sell to the ETF issuers directly. However, there are some workarounds for this as well. But I think Ripple locking back that escrow month after month, I think Ripple wants to make more acquisitions. Remember, Brad said there's going to be more acquisitions in the future. XRP supply shock is now visible. New ETF data shows how fast the liquidity is vanishing. So if these numbers are right in this article, this is how long it's going to take to reach scarcity. So the over-the-counter problem, there simply isn't enough supply. This is where the math turns from bullish to downright chaotic. Institutional liquidity for XRP sits primarily and over-the-counter books estimated at 1.5 to 2.5 billion XRP globally. Those reserves used to buffer institutional demand. Now the ETFs are draining them at a record pace. So if ETFs keep absorbing 614 million XRP per month at 2.5 billion supply, it'll be gone in 4 months. If there's 1.5 billion out there with the over-the-counter supply, it'll be gone in 2.4 months. But then you gotta look at the dark pools that nobody really wants to talk about, because nobody knows how much is sitting there. I would guess it's not very much XRP. I think a lot of that already disappeared. So what happens when over-the-counter runs dry? Once the over-the-counter markets can't source deep liquidity, the entire structure of XRP trading changes instantly. Market makers are forced onto exchanges, exchange order books, then out faster. Slippage spikes across every pair. Price gaps upward violently. Retail FOMO accelerates the breakout. Institutional algorithms chase the momentum. This isn't speculation. This is the same behavior seen during Bitcoin's 2024 ETF-driven surge, except XRP has a much smaller available float and historically tighter liquidity. So they're saying XRP is going to surge violently once the over-the-counter desk run out of XRP, and it can happen anywhere between 2.4 months and 4 months. That's why I think Jake Claver was saying that this could happen sometime by the end of this year. But I think his timeline was off, most likely maybe only by like 4 weeks or so. I know it's coming. Everybody knows it's coming. When it happens, it's going to be absolutely shocking. Ripple cannot reach the under 20% threshold before the Clarity Act arrives, so XRP will be labeled non-mature unless Ripple reduces its effective control another way. The only realistic path is if Ripple's 1,700 NDAs include agreements that pre-allocate portions of the escrow. Now the 1,700 NDAs, I don't know if those are promised XRP or if they purchased extra XRP in the past. We really don't know. A lot of people want to know who those NDAs are with, and I think we're gradually getting to finding out who they're with now, with new names popping up tied to Ripple all the time. I think the Clarity Act is what's really gonna open up the NDAs as well. All of a sudden, a lot of institutions are going to be making an announcement that they were working with Ripple behind the scenes for years. But we're all going to find out very soon, because the timeline on this isn't years away. It's only weeks, possibly 1 or 2, 3 months away from where we are right now. German media updating new XRP spot ETFs live on air. So now, even with new XRP ETFs going live, German TV is giving live updates on this. Here in the US, they don't talk about XRP at all. You ever take notice overseas, they're talking about XRP. Korea talks about XRP. Japan talks about XRP. Even Christine Lagarde has mentioned XRP and XLM in the past on the mainstream. German TV does it as well. Here in the US, it's the Bitcoin marketing scheme every single day, keeping the hype going for Bitcoin. They never want to talk about XRP at all. Soon, they're going to have no choice but to talk about it, because it is coming for the #1 spot, and it is eventually going to flip Bitcoin, a listed Japanese company, directly into its treasury part of all. Plus Corpora, new shareholder, filing co-buy and hold XRP alongside sachet for long-term value and stake-based income that keep popping up as well,